broadcasting across the globe of World Wide Web.
Attention please, this feel like the whole entire world collapsed.
This that yellow tape-ish, they keep running out of it.
Hello, the first episode of 2020, a new decade. This is exciting. Okay, so at the wake of the 2020 discussion, we'd like to have a very interesting discussion, and in studio I'm joined by two individuals, a gentleman and a lady. It's so exciting to actually have a lady on our show. Tokwaga na shortage. And the main reason why we have this discussion, the main reason why we would like to really have this discussion is around the gender equality conversation. And with me to discuss this is Mr. Robert Yahweh and Sylvia. And I'll allow them each 30 seconds to introduce themselves so that our audience are familiarized with themselves, with the guest in studio.
Hi, my name is Robert Yahweh. I'm an IT consultant and I'm an advocate for the boy child.
Umechukua kazi ya Cyprian.
No, Cyprian is a confused boy child. Okay. And for me, I think we've now even moved. It's not even the boy child anymore. It's the boy man.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let's hear from Sylvia and then hold that thought, Mr. Yahweh.
Thank you for having me. This is Sylvia Wairimo, and I advocate for young parenthood, and I advocate for girl child here in this conversation.
Interesting. So it's still the girl child, not the girl woman, like Yahweh put it, right?
I will differ with the boy man.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe he could have said man child or something.
It's a man child.
The man child.
This is now getting even worse.
Yeah. So the man, technically the boy is becoming a man, but yet still
A child.
a boy.
Yes.
A child. Let's call him a child.
We call him a child or we call him a boy?
A
We can
child
agree
is-
on that. I think I like your perspective.
Yeah.
Yes.
How did we get here? Why is the boy not growing up? Yeah,
growing-
Sylvia, please, yeah.
Well, because he doesn't want to. He doesn't believe in himself. And he doesn't believe that he can control the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yahweh, when did our old men stop mentoring the boys so that they can take over the mantle?
Our men never did that. I think it's a misconception. I'd say today I'm the product of a woman.
Okay.
Or actually I'm a product of women. I'm a product of my mother. I'm a product of the women who taught me in school. I'm the product of my wife. And more recently, I'm becoming the product of my daughter. My sons have very little impact on me. My father had very little impact on me. So I keep wondering, why is it that we keep saying the man dictates? We are 9 months late in getting to know the child because they spend the first 9 months attached to their mothers. So the man has a bit of an issue of finding out what their role really is. And I think what it is, in my opinion, the woman needs to repurpose the man.
So, in a nutshell, you're saying it's the women who are failing the men.
Yes, it is.
I beg to differ. I beg to differ. Because bonding a baby with the father starts from when he's there. He or she is in the womb, that is.
How does that happen?
Yeah, it happens because if I tell you maybe just play with that belly, talk to the unborn. Actually, it happens. When it happens, it's not proven, it's not biologically proven, but I know it's there.
Okay.
Bonding starts when the baby is not born yet.
Okay. Interesting. So, Yahweh, you're saying that the man technically, if I can rephrase your words, is
Yes.
the man does not know what he wants out of life.
Yes, he does not.
And how does he figure out what he wants? Because over history, if you look back in history, you have lots of men who are great. Starting from Alexander, let's go to Jesus, let's go to the Roman emperors. All of them, they were all men. The United States, for crying out loud, all of their presidents are men.
The day America has a president who is a bachelor, then we can have that conversation. Because there's always a first lady.
Okay, let's look at our economy. It's
Yes.
being managed by a single man. CBK governor.
That's a governor. But who is his number 2 and the ones below him? I like what you're saying is fine. There's been this misconception of men have been in the forefront, or at least that's how it has been seen. But who has put them there? We'll go back, and I say let's go to the Garden of Eden.
Okay.
God made man and told him to go into the garden and just chill.
And name some animals.
That was chilling. It's what it is. It's chilling. He was chilling.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's why most men, you ask him, what are you doing? I'm chilling. Okay? But now I hear women also saying they are chilling. I wonder whether they understand what chilling really means. Yeah? So Adam would chill around the garden. God would pop up once in a while. They would have a chat. They would discuss issues of the weather, which animal has been hanging around where. But all along, God realized that this guy was not determining his own purpose. Because God had assumed man would determine his purpose when left free in the garden. But he didn't. So God decided maybe I did something wrong. So he created Eve. And we always talk of Eve having made Adam eat the apple. But Adam had been told by God, do not eat of this tree. It was an apple tree, isn't it? So to make his life easier, what Adam should have done was to avoid ever eating an apple. That way the chances of eating from that tree would have been 0. So Eve came and was told, do not eat of this tree. What Adam should have told her, do not eat apples. Period. Then whatever happened would not have happened. And what Eve realized was, this guy has all this potential here, but he's not utilizing it. He's just waiting for evening for God to show up. They can go to a corner and have a chat. Then he comes back to explain to me what chat they had, which is critically what most of us still do. You go to the bar in the evening, then you go home to tell your wife what you were told in the bar. It's not your idea. It's the man you met in the bar, whose history we don't know. So Adam basically was only given purpose after they were sent out of the garden. And that purpose was defined by Eve. And to me, that is where we keep getting it wrong.
Could I cut you short? Because I think you refused. Let me use the word you refused. You refused to stand on your feet. Because you were told not to eat from that fruit, right? But Eve brought it and you took it. You could have said no.
Yes, he would have said no. And that's what I'm saying. I'm now getting to. Why didn't he say no?
Because you refused to define yourself.
Thank you. I think we can end this now.
How?
She has confirmed that it is she who defined him because he refused to define himself.
We never defined. We tried to give you.
Yeah,
And see-
she gave him the apple. He got the apple. Then you were both cast out. They were both cast out. And when they were cast out, Adam was now told, you shall now work hard, and the woman shall labor.
Wow, interesting discussion. Let me. There's this very common quote: behind every successful man, there's a woman. Sylvia, what does that mean?
Behind every
Successful
successful man,
there's a woman. Definitely.
Yeah, but
Okay.
who said this actually? Who said this?
That's a good question. I don't know who said it. I grew up listening to it.
Because maybe it's an urban saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
An urban legend.
Exactly. Yeah. Because this is because I think, okay, yeah, I can side with both the explanation that is on according to your statement, because I am here with, let's say my husband, for example. This is my husband, and he's going out there to work. I'm left at home. I have to work, as in like I have to wash the clothes. I have to make good food for him. When he comes home, I have to welcome him back home and serve him food and ask him maybe how was your day. You see, I'm relaxing his mind. And when I'm relaxing his mind, he's tending to feel better. You get, even maybe he had a rough day at work, but if at all I'm trying to kind of relax his mind, you see, definitely he will have a better life, meaning he will do more things. He will think of doing more things, and definitely he's going to be a successful man. You see,
Is that what Yahweh is talking about? The woman giving the man purpose? Because the whole point for you to try to relax him is so that tomorrow he has the energy to go and do what he's supposed to do, which is the purpose. Can we say that?
yeah, but the purpose is not an apple here. The purpose is not an apple here, because I think my husband, okay, you know, when we were growing up, okay, let me say in my primary school education, I can trace a point I was told the man is the head of the family. I don't know who concur with that, because I think he is supposed to know what is good for the family and what is bad for the family. Yes, I might. Also, the Bible says in Proverbs that a wise woman builds her home, and a foolish woman plants her home with her own hand. Yeah, but you see, if at all I'm wise, I'm supposed to support my husband positively. You see, I'm supposed to support him so that he gets to be successful. And he's supposed to know that the family, okay, is not taking the right direction when they do a certain thing. You get? So he's supposed to stand at his what? I'm losing the word. He's supposed to
At his throne.
yeah, kind of, yeah, something of that sort. He's supposed to know where he stands and what he means in that home, to make decision of which direction my family is supposed to take.
Okay, interesting. Yahweh,
Yes.
did we stop being the heads of our homes as men?
Were we ever?
Well, Sylvia said from social studies in primary, we were told, even the drawings, Yahweh, usually the father was first, then the mother, then the kids.
Not unless he wasn't from Kenya.
Let's look at see, it's we're told today, if you're a gentleman, you say ladies first. Okay? But in African tradition, the woman walked behind in the African. Why? Because in the event of an attack, the man needed to be in front. So here's a young man who, on one end, the father is telling him, or the grandfather, you stand in front, your wife stands behind. Then he goes to school and is told, no, a gentleman stands behind and lets the woman go in front. Now, suddenly this young man is confused because he's having to live in two different lives. Because he's got a traditional side and he's got what we are calling a modern side. So he's lost. And then we are assuming that he should be able to be the one to reconcile.
Let me cut you short here, Mr. Yahweh.
Yes.
Because I think by the man standing behind the woman and letting the woman lead, it's not like leading, literally leading. It's only like a sign of love. You get? Like, you will, for example, we are traveling, you will come and open a car for me. and tell me get inside. Why is it not you getting inside first and then telling me to get inside? Because you're trying to show me love. Because I'm under you. You're trying to show me that you're protecting me. You get?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. It's what I want to look at is when he's opening the door, then you say that proves love. Now, in the event whereby you're married and both of you have your own car, so should he come and open the door for you in your car, then go to his car?
Not really, because I don't think we are going to exit at the same time from that gate. If at all you have your own car and I have my own car,
Yes.
it shows we're not even going to the same direction.
Which is what we have today.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Most families are two-car families.
Not most.
Okay, a few are two-car families.
Yeah.
And the others are sometimes, most of the time, for a long time, men have walked away from home.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a man who's left the village, he's come to the city to work, he's left the wife at home taking care of the family.
And what's the problem with that?
Then now I'm trying to see, does it mean that she was not loved because he was not there on a daily basis to...
She is loved, and that's why that man went outside the place, their home. Isn't like he went far from their home to look for greener pastures. It shows at the near, let's say wherever he stays, as like near his home, there's no these greener pastures. So he saw a greener pasture for his family, and that's why he took a step going far from the home to go and get better things for the family.
So in other words, the purpose for the man is nothing more than material provision.
No, there is also physical, emotional, and all that. Because I don't think whenever you go out, you don't want to tell me, Mr. Yahweh, if at all putting yourself in that situation, you've left your family to go and work far from your home. Do you want to tell me that you will never even communicate to them because your role is just to provide financially?
Before
You will
WhatsApp,
call them.
before WhatsApp and all this,
You used to call them.
no, there are no phones. You have to send letters and assume your wife could read.
But you
So
see,
the only way is when you show up on Christmas was the only time. So for me, what I'm asking, if we remove the financial component,
there's emotional and
so would the woman be fine if the man only provides
no
the emotional and what was the other one?
physical and financial?
Now, if we remove the financial, does it still remain relevant in your life?
He does, and that's why I married him. I never married him because of his property. Maybe you never even had anything by the time I was marrying you. Maybe we even made this rich, like when we were in that nini, after wedding, that is. You see, after maybe I got married to you, that's when we made the whole thing.
So in other words, the wealth was created by the two of you coming together.
I'm saying in some point.
So in that case, when it happens, then that should be fine.
What should be fine?
Because most times you're told, marry a man who is successful. So in other words, you do not come into the marriage to participate. You come into the marriage that already has the resources in place.
No, it doesn't mean that, because if at all I've married a well-up man, it doesn't mean that he's going to stop there or he's going to be stagnant from the point I got married to that home.
Yes.
We are still going to make more money. We are going to be blessed with maybe kids, and they still need provision and all that.
So it's a joint effort.
Yeah, true.
This is getting heated. It's getting quite interesting. Do women go for men who are higher than them in terms of wealth, age? Is that the case? That's what I'm getting from this conversation. And we're going to take a quick short break, and then we come back, continue this discussion, and we figure out, because there's no way we can be able to assume the lessons we learned from our history. So that is the old age and the modern world. the boy child is at the center. Then we need to figure out how does the boy child survive with these two conflicting ideas. So let's take a quick break, and we come back. Oh, by the way, before I forget, the producer is looking at me. Remember to record your podcast. You can record your podcast, have it from script to production, all the way to marketing. Use it through Acute Media. You can talk to Acute Media at Acute Media on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Hashtag YellowTape CRK at Campus Radio KE. The discussion today is what's wrong with the boy child? And with me in studio is Mr. Robert Yahweh and Sylvia, and they're helping us share and discuss and understand where this rain started beating us. So, Yahweh, you introduced a very interesting concept whereby you said the boy child is at the point whereby he's growing up being told by the grandfather that you are the head of the house, you put the man in the lady behind you, but then he's also growing up at a situation whereby the woman is also empowered. We have all these conversations, okay? Now, how does the boy child figure out how to, marry the two?
I think that's where the crisis is coming in, because we're trying to come up with a hybrid. What we need to agree is what is the new role of the man in the family, even in business, in the community, because that's where there's been disruption. The woman's role seems to be totally intact across all these changes. Because we are discussing how the man walks in front of the woman walks in front of the man. No one is ever referring to the woman as a point of reference, but she remains the only point of reference across this transition. And that's why, in my opinion, it is the woman who needs to repurpose the man. She needs to decide what is it that you now still feel you require from the man. We said the man provided security. That is when we had lions and antelopes and other things harassing us. Today, if you want security as a woman, you hire Securico or G4S or one of the others. We are told that the man is the one who brings home the bread. Some guy opened a bakery.
Not really.
Then you tell me that the man is the one who brings home the money, like we said, with the man who had to travel for greener pastures. But then we've educated the girl as well as we've educated the boy. The girl has the opportunities at work, which means the boy now is having to either have a boss who is female, or he needs to mentor females to get to the office that he most likely is holding. Which for me then means, then what is the relevance of the man now? If the woman is able to provide herself security, she's able to provide herself a roof over her head, then what remains the purpose of the man in the woman's life?
That's an interesting question.
So Mr. Yahweh, do you want to tell me that it were better off if the woman was not educated or something?
Yeah, let me pause and so you've said that the lady right now can be able to provide, right?
Yes.
Which essentially, Sylvia, like you said, that was like the critical role, even in the Bible, the reference that you used, and also Yahweh used. Adam's job was to go out there, sweat, then bring, right?
Yeah.
But right now, the role of the man is also being shared by the woman. Because right now we have women who also can provide.
Yeah, and I think this is why it all started, when men started running away from their responsibilities.
Of providing.
Yeah, you've made a lady pregnant and you're running away.
Okay.
So, do this girl kills herself? What is she supposed to do? That isn't like.
And is it because the boy child realized that the woman can actually take care? And that's
Definitely, because now you have a baby here. What are you going to do with it? And if at all you're not supposed to provide, you're only supposed to recreate, then are you going to recreate, and then where is the provision? And the man already, the man already ran.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's the problem is you. It's the boy child.
No.
But the boy child, like Sylvia is saying, is running away from the responsibility. And looking back even at the books that we used to read back in high school, the Farsis and the like.
Yes.
Usually, like when the boy impregnates a lady, the family is happy where the boy comes from.
Yes.
But then it's not the same on the other side.
On the girl's side.
Yes.
Yes. I'll get down to why this still plays back to the same. And when people have sex, really, it's not about recreation. It's about procreation. And the person who bears the highest level of responsibility in that decision is the woman. Because if she does get pregnant, that means there goes the next 24 years of her life. And therefore, it means she should be the one who is picky about who she allows to impregnate her. To the man, he cannot see beyond the next 15 minutes. And I think the minute we come to accept that the man is built to go out and sow seeds as many times and as frequently as he can to increase the odds that it is his child who shall be born. Okay? And when we look at it that way, therefore, what the woman needs to learn to do is to be able to go back and look at the man and understand, would this man be able to stand by me when I'm going through this pregnancy? First. If he shows no signs of it, then I think that conversation should not go beyond that. And again, like I said, to the man, I cannot try to give the man that responsibility. The same thing happens with like...
But then, yeah, well, like you're saying,
yes,
if you're willing to take that responsibility from the man, meaning go out there, sigh as much as you can. But then
but that's him.
Where does that leave the boy?
Jeanette, inherently, that's the purpose of the male in any species, whereby you have a gamete that needs to...
Yes, but then you realize whatever that differentiates us from animals is that we take responsibility. We've seen historically, even Solomon, who had a number of wives, he was responsible.
So that's what I'm getting at. It's why did the many wives allow themselves to be married to Solomon?
Let me cut you short, or rather answer you.
Yes.
Because you're saying I am supposed to choose who
fathers the children, your children. Yes, exactly.
But you see, maybe you masked yourself. You really showed lots of manhood in yourself. In this scenario, I don't mean the manhood. You really showed me how responsible you are. You see, but when it came to that point, you unmasked yourself. You ran away before I even realized you were there. You see? Immediately I told you, hey, you know what? I am pregnant for you. I even looking at you again, as in like raising my head to look at you, you had already disappeared. You see? You had already disappeared.
Yeah.
And I was telling you because I believed in you. I believed I believed in the man you showed me you are. You see, that's why in the first place I took the step of telling you. If at all I knew you are not responsible man, or maybe you were just masking yourself, maybe I couldn't even tell you. I could just go out there, tell myself, and feed my kid. You see, because I know you don't have any purpose in my life. But because I believed in you, that's why I took a step of telling you. But you see, you unmasked yourself, and before I even raised my head to look at you, maybe to listen to your answer, you were not there.
You know, what I've heard from a lot of women who have actually mentioned to a man that she's pregnant, the man's reaction is usually, is it mine?
Is it mine? Do you?
So essentially, you're saying the man is responsible if it's
No,
his.
at no time. You see, for him, he never saw the possibility. And that's why his first reaction is he knows the activity he took part in was likely to see a child. But when he's told that he was successful, the first question is doubt.
Are you sure?
But
Are you sure?
I don't conquer with him not believing in himself, but I differ with that. But I think you just doesn't trust. You just don't trust me. You just don't trust me because do you think I have? How many men do you think I have?
I'll tell you this from I'll tell you this from and that's why sometimes these conversations become complex because you're looking at the solution from your perspective as a woman. That basically I fully trust you, so therefore I believe you trust me.
But why ask whether it's yours?
And
Who
that's why I
else
say
would it
to the
be?
man, his objective all along was never to get caught up.
But who else could it be?
To him, and I think it's part of what we're saying is that to him what it is he also now gets the reaction that if it is mine, then I need to get caught up in the rest of the responsibilities
But
that
it
comes
is
with
only
it.
Mary, Mother of Jesus, who conceived through Holy Spirit. So who else could it be? I am pregnant and definitely it's yours.
This is getting interesting. Did I mention that this particular episode is being recorded at Acute Studios at Phoenix House? So remember, at Acute Media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, if you want your podcast done this way or better. So the big question that is here is, like you raised it, is the man is not taking responsibility, while Yahweh claims that the man can only take responsibility once he's given direction. Jordan Peterson, who's a lecturer, said that the woman is born knowing their purpose, but the man, biologically, the woman knows their purpose. You know what you want out of life. You know what you need. In any situation, a woman will technically most likely get to know what they want out of it, but the man has to figure it out. That's why we keep on going out there testing things, and that's why you'll find anytime you're marrying when you want to get into a serious relationship with even a man, the lady will always be like, fika home mapema, to stay at home, watch the movie, stay at home, watch football, because the man essentially is, like Yahweh said, and a chill. Is that statement true?
I don't think it is true.
Actually, he goes further to say that a woman will be happy in her career until she's 30, when she realizes she needs a family.
I think that is about the new generation, and
Okay.
in our conversation here, I think we are weighing both generations, our grandfathers and the current generation.
Yes.
So I think his statement is based on
The modern,
current,
yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, because back then the women could only maybe give birth to kids, stay home, raise the kids, go to the shamba, get them food, and do all that you get. Maybe even the man could marry 2 or 3 wives, but the same thing happened in all those homes, you see. But in the current era, you see, when the man started running away from their responsibilities, we learned how to take care of ourselves.
Okay.
Because we're not going to go mad because a man went. We're not going to sit like we're not going to take the life like that is the end because he ran. There is tomorrow. I have my kids. They need me because I'm the one who is there for them. You see?
Okay.
The father ran away, so I have to be the father. I have to be the mother.
Okay.
Because, and that's why, and I think that's how Mr. Yahweh is saying the woman is supposed to show the purpose to the man, I guess. Do I get the point?
Yes.
Yeah, because maybe when the man runs away and he leaves me with a son, I now have to mold him in a way that I want him never to run away from another lady. You see, from the lady he will get. So
is that being manly?
So I think
Are we making our boys, because I mean also statistically we have increasing number of single mothers, right?
yeah.
From your point, and also statistically,
Yeah.
as compared to what we used to have. Right now we have lots of single parents as compared to what we had 20 years ago, right?
True.
Now, is that one of the reasons why most of the men that are growing up right now spending most of their time with their mothers? Is it the reason why we are becoming fragile? Would you say that would be the case?
I wouldn't say that. Maybe they are just feeling sorry to themselves.
And why is
Because
that?
there's no man figure in their life to look up on. You see.
Yeah, we're million happy.
Me Nico.
That seems to be the problem.
Me Nico.
That seems to be the problem.
Yeah.
I think she raised an interesting issue. Was she will bring up her son in a way that he would not do to another woman what was done to the mother.
Yes.
And maybe that's, again, comes back to what I'm saying, is when a woman is bringing up a son, for what purpose is she bringing him up? Is she bringing him up to protect her? Or is she bringing him up so that he can be a good husband to the woman he finally marries? And therefore, if that becomes the case, then the problem we are having with the so-called boy child who is not taking responsibility is more because his mother did not bring him up to stand up to his responsibilities. Because if he did not do it when he was in his mother's house, becomes very difficult for him to take responsibility
But if I
when he
cut you
gets out.
But if I cut you short, he is acting the way he is acting, not because I didn't bring him up like the mother. I never brought him up as in knowing his purpose. It is because you ran away. There was no father in that house. You see, so I tried playing both roles. You get, like the father and the mother. You see, I tried my best.
Yahweh, will it be true to say, like, will it be true if as a single dad you're raising a daughter, is it more likely that you're going to raise the daughter to be more protective, to stand for himself, like a manly sort of stature?
I doubt that. What you can do is you can build in her the level of confidence for her to be able to always make sure she can protect herself. And I believe that is what is mainly lacking today. Like I say, the boy child's problem is the mother did not turn him into a responsible person. And I believe we see a lot of this in homes, whereby the girl child is told to go to the kitchen, is told to wash her clothes, and is told to wash the brother's clothes. You see, basically what it is the mother is breeding the girl to be a wife, like her. But in the process is ending up bringing up a son who cannot stand up to the role of being a husband.
But standing up to a role of being a husband doesn't mean that he knows how to clean the clothes and all that.
No, the cleaning of clothes is responsibility, because before, if we look at the, like we say, the two settings, in the village, he'd be sent off to take care of his father's cows or his father's goats.
Yeah.
And if he came back with fewer goats than he was sent out with, chances are that is a sign of irresponsibility.
True.
And he'll be beaten out of him.
Yeah.
Today we're told we can't beat our children. so we can't try that strategy. That's out of the way. Today, in the modern setting, what activities can be given to the boy to make him responsible? Instead of, by us telling him to just, his work is just to read, and his sister's work is to read and do household chores. See, again, like I'm saying, is that, and we all know, the father's role here becomes very difficult because he no longer has goats to give the son to go and herd. So how does the father come into the picture to help make this boy more responsible?
No, that's
then
the
again,
problem.
Yeah, and again, then that like you've said, then it means the fathers are the ones who are not helping the boy become more
Exactly.
responsible from what you
Exactly.
just
Yes,
said.
but what remains
Plus
for
there's
the
no-
father to do?
Plus, there is
What
no-
activity in the home could the father give to the child, the
Before
boy?
we go
and
to
that's what we need
that,
to figure out.
before
Yes.
we go to that, in the modern life, there's no proper. It's like we cannot say there is enough property like it was there before. Like there's no shambas, there's no those many goats you get, and there's no cattle to herd. You get. So, as in like, what else could it be? He will just send his son to school, go study, and become a man.
And
That's the only thing left now.
and also with the modern
And get
setting,
yourself.
what I'm trying to understand is with the modern setting, like you've said,
Yeah.
there's little to do, which means most homes nowadays they have a house help who does most of the chores.
Yeah.
Then how do we ensure the lady learns the responsibility and while the boy is not?
There is the home science subject. This is the home science project, and I think
Okay.
just like you said, sometimes, and that's why I said I won't defend, I won't conquer. With that the lady is born with knowing their purpose, because when a girl is born,
Yeah.
when a baby is born and it's a girl, definitely she knows she has to be responsible for that home, not responsible in terms of like being the head, but responsible to clean that house, responsible to know that I should wear clean clothes, we should eat from clean utensils, we should live in a clean house, whether there is a house help or not, whether there is a house manager or not, because even that house manager won't tell the boy child to go and clean, maybe to go and clean a certain mess somewhere. But if at all there is a girl in that home, definitely she will send the girl to go and clean that mess. You see, the boy child will just be left there with the remote, maybe, or go and maybe go to his room and read. You see,
Yeah.
it's either phone, remote,
Or
or
newspaper.
books.
And yeah, well, that is basically what most of the boys see out of their parents, out of their fathers.
Yes,
The dad gets home, remote,
Because they
canny
lack,
weekend, newspaper.
but
because
Then
they
ikifika
lacked
afternoon,
direction.
EPL.
yes, and then we look, and
No
that's what
one
I'm saying.
was
And
getting
let's look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Who allows him to come and sit and do that?
The father. Because if
No,
at all
the father is doing it. The boy is learning from the father.
yeah,
So how does the father get to that stage where all he does is hang out
it's the
and
father.
chill?
It's still the
You see,
father.
we're back to the garden again, whereby man has been allowed to chill.
Yeah, but still it is the father, because even it is God who allowed Adam to chill.
But when we
So-
look at it, and for me, that's what I would say is that, and what has remained is that then by him just chilling, what really the message coming out is the man's role is only to provide financially, and then the rest shall be taken care of.
We said there's emotion, because if at all you're not there emotionally, I don't think I have a man in that house. Because if at all it's financial in the current world, I can provide. Maybe you can be sacked at work and I'm working. Won't I provide because I'm the woman? I will
Many
still
women
provide.
today will throw out the man.
No,
Yes.
I haven't seen one. Can you pick an example?
Now, see, if I name the person, then I'm shaming them. I'm shaming the woman for her actions after you have made that statement.
But maybe there's a public.
Do you have a
example.
decrease in people willing to get into marriage right now?
Okay. Recently there was, but I think currently every lady wants to get married, and married in the right way. Get proposed, get proposed to, and then the Rurashio thing.
Yeah.
You know the Rurashio thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then The wedding thing.
Yeah.
You see, as in like they want to feel loved, they want to feel protected, they want to feel, yes, I have a man. Why do I have to tell my other ladies like, oh, my man did this, did that? Because it is a man I'm talking about, a man who protects,
Yeah.
a man who I feel he is the head in that relationship.
Yeah. Back then, did you used to have all these? I mean, you're older than us, so definitely you have more. You've seen quite. Did you used to have what Sylvia described?
Not in the way she's described it. Okay. And I think earlier she described something, but is the union of marriage is really, truly that. It's a partnership. Sure. And there are two heads to it. And what I look at a coin. If I take a coin, what determines what is the head and what is the tail? Is it the image or is it the direction the coin is facing?
The image.
It's the
According
image.
to my tech.
If I have a coin which has a head on one side and a tail on the other side, and I rub off the tail, is it still valid as currency?
It is not, because they are concurrently.
So together, it's the only way it becomes value. Its true value is in having both the head and the tail.
Sure.
So both sides of the coin are essential.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, that is what marriage is supposed to be about. And therefore, the question becomes now, how do we define the roles of the two? And like Dixon said, the woman seems to know her purpose right from the start. The man's purpose seems to be changing as we go along. But the woman's purpose seems to be fixed, and she knows exactly what she wants from the man. You said it is, I want a man, which means you do know exactly what you're looking for. And I believe that is what we're trying to get at. What exactly to you defines a man?
And before you get there, I would concur with Dixon's statement saying that I'm losing the point.
Then move on to mine.
No, saying that, oh no, you've just talked of it right now.
The woman knowing her purpose?
No, the previous point he made about it. My memory is getting short. You said, you can just continue.
I want you to give me your definition of how would you...
A man is someone who is able and who is taking his responsibility proudly.
Which is that responsibility?
Responsibility is knowing that, oh yes, I have remembered the point. I was saying maybe the man doesn't know about his purpose, but yeah, sometimes he doesn't know. The reason being, he can have two girlfriends. He loves maybe both of them, but maybe he loves one the more. But the one who he doesn't love the more gets pregnant of him before the one he loves the more. Do you know he will leave the one he loves the more to be with the one who
got pregnant?
Yeah.
Taking
Reason being,
responsibility.
this one has shown him a sense of stability. I want to be with you, and this is it. You see? And he will be like, no, what if I leave this one and maybe the other one won't even get pregnant? Will I still have the chance to go back and father the other child? You see, maybe most of the time he will go for the one who has gotten pregnant.
Yeah, you seem like you have...
And you see, maybe the one who he never loved them more, maybe that lady knew her purpose, knew she wanted this man, and the only way to get this man was getting pregnant for him.
I think you're going back to what Yahweh is trying to say, that the woman is the one who defines the man's role. Because if again, like you said, if the woman...
I will still argue with the same point anyway.
No, I think you've
I'm still arguing with it. Because if at all the man loves this one the more, and this one whom he loves the less got pregnant, and he's choosing him just because the lady showed him the lady showed him that there's a sense of responsibility somewhere. You see, he's not being man enough here to stand his ground and say this
until he gets direction.
Exactly. He says, no, I love this one. You see? Yes, I will father the child. I'll take responsibility of that child, but I don't want to get married to you. You see? Because, like we said about love, it's about compatibility. Love, it's as in like marriage, sorry. Marriage, it's about love. Marriage, it's about compatibility. Marriage, it's about how you guys are getting along with each other. You see? How you guys are able to solve your problems. You see? And if at all he loved this one less, they will ever live to quarrel. Maybe it will even end up to a single family thing. Because maybe after 2-3 years, they are in quarrels and let's just break up. You see? But maybe if at all he fathered that child and got married to the lady he loves, you see, they will have, even if it's a blended family, it will be sweeter than
going with someone.
Exactly. Someone he doesn't love.
For me, from your definition of responsibility, I find that the man then, that was a true man, because he realized that the woman was pregnant, he had impregnated her, and therefore he decided, let me go and take my responsibility fully, even though it means me sacrificing the love that I have for the other woman. And that's why I'm asking, so is that then the definition of a true responsible?
Will it go? You see,
No, I think it's about sacrifice.
He doesn't know the purpose. He doesn't know the purpose here. He doesn't know the purpose. He's only seeing 1 centimeter away from the situation. Because 2-3 years, they are broken up. What for? It's better of a blended family, which will last, than a family taking the lady and the child because I want to be responsible here and just to last 2-3 years.
But then we want
I will have wasted that lady's life.
How about the scenario that Yahweh described? Go ahead, marry the lady you love, but then take responsibility for your actions. Will that be?
That's what I said. That's what I said.
Yes. In Hack, what Sylvia is saying is he should go and marry the one he loves, but take responsibility.
Exactly.
And to me, then that means that what you're saying, taking responsibility means providing financially and materially for the child, but not necessarily emotionally.
Even physical, you can take. When I talk of blended family,
so he's free to have 2 wives.
No, what is blended family?
So he marries one and keeps another one as mpango ya kando.
No, a blended family is where a man has a child and maybe a lady has a child. They come together and get married and have one family. That's a blended family.
Okay. So in this case, we have both the man and the lady, they are coming with kids.
That is, I'm saying, for example, if they both have kids. But even if the man have a kid and the lady doesn't have a kid, it's also a blended family because this lady is a stepmother to that child, you see. But as long as he feels the child is safe to be in that house, because maybe he can bring the child, but maybe the lady will eat. So it's about him knowing his purpose. It is his job to weigh the both scenarios. You see, because he is the head here. I am with the 2 ladies. It is me who is with the 2 ladies. Okay. So whom do I go?
This is an interesting conversation, and I'd like us to actually start thinking of our conclusions, because then the big question still remains. There is a problem. The lady seems to be empowered. This is threatening the boy child. Mr. Burala has been quoted saying that the man, the boy child, is living with a lot of insecurities. And someone who's insecure cannot be a good husband, right? cannot even take responsibility if you're insecure. Okay, so how do we empower the boy child? How do we help the boy child? Like Yahweh is saying, the boy child is okay. The only problem is the boy child does not have direction. How can we be able to figure out, how can we help the boy to figure out his direction? So we can start with Sylvia, then we finish up with Yahweh.
According to my take, there should be trainings on how he's going to stand up for himself. You see, how he's going to be brave enough for himself. Because if at all he is feeling threatened with the lady already knowing her purpose from the word go, as in from birth, then he's supposed to stand at his own place, you see, and say, yes, you knew your purpose, but I am ready to realize my own purpose and stand at my own place. And you should not take away, as in my place, as in like, even if, yes, for example, like an example I gave earlier, where maybe a man leaves and the lady is left with no choice but to be the father and the mother. But all the same, he is supposed to now realize, maybe I'm even losing a gem by running away from my responsibilities. Maybe I am getting more weaker, and maybe in years to come, I will be seen like nothing if I continue with my habit of like not being brave enough, not showing how manly I am. Okay, in man, as in like manly, I don't want to use that one though, but without showing how manly I am. So it's upon them it is a wake up call for them to see they are losing their power. They are getting weaker day in now. See, so they should have, maybe they should be organized for some trainings by the fellow men, and also maybe by ladies, as Mr. Yahweh is trying to insert here, and tell them, yes, we know our purpose, but it's not late for you guys to realize your purpose. And it's not that you don't have a purpose. It's only that you don't want to realize your purpose. Just feeling like you're being overpowered by women, and you're letting it happen to yourself.
All right, Yahweh, when are you going to start training the boy child? But before you answer that, how can we help the boy child figure out his direction?
I'm standing my ground. The boy child is incapable of deciding his stand. His stand shall be determined by the women in his life. And if the women in his life are failing to give him that stand, then he shall continue to falter. And like I said, I started off, Adam, his purpose was by Eve. Wasn't for Eve, he wouldn't. For Moses, if his mother did not take it upon herself to put him in a basket and push him over into the house of Pharaoh. And when Pharaoh's daughter picked up the baby, she knew clearly this was a child of of Jewish heritage, and she should have just wiped him out. But being a woman, she understood that this is a life that could have a purpose down the way.
Where was the father?
We've never been told about the father.
He ran away.
You see? That's what I'm saying. The purpose of the man. Then let's look, and then I'll go down and I'll come and let's look at Samson. Mm-hmm. Samson was a strong man with a lot of, but he did not want to live up to his purpose. His purpose was change. If Delilah did not get his eyes popped out,
he allowed himself to
no.
be overcome.
Yes, and that's why it was not, what he did was, he knew he had the strength, but he didn't know what its purpose was. So by Delilah betraying him and taking away his eyesight, she put into him his true purpose. His true purpose was to bring down this particular building. Yes, that was his purpose. He now had a purpose in life. and he went and executed upon his purpose. You've raised a very interesting issue also, is when a woman gets pregnant and the man takes off, she's fine. She takes it up and says, boom, he's gone, but I have a responsibility to deal with. You take a man and the girlfriend runs away from him and he goes to look for a rope to hang himself. You tell me, who's been left with greater responsibility? The pregnant girl where the father has walked away, or the boy who is not pregnant and the girl has walked away?
The boy is just refusing to be courageous and brave enough for himself. Because taking away his life, it's a sign of being coward.
Nice.
What if from Yahweh's point, is it that the woman was giving the boy who a purpose? Can we look at it from that
Sorry?
angle? Can we say this guy, after now the girlfriend left, he had no reason to leave? His purpose had gone.
That's an interesting one. That's an interesting one. But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's just refusing to wake up from where he has fallen. You see, he's just trying to cling to the past. You see, this girl maybe wasn't the purpose, because if at all she was his purpose, she could have stayed.
Giving. Yahweh.
But because
When did the
he's
lion
not-
lose its mane? The lion has always been the king of the jungle.
He's only been the king of the jungle. Why? Because the lioness told him so.
Interesting. If you've watched Lion King, you can definitely see the scene where Simba left, was chilling, as Yahweh describes it, until Nala showed up
Yes.
and reminded him that he needs to go back and fight for.
His throne. Because
Who reminded,
she knew his purpose was to
who
rule.
reminded him?
Nala, the girlfriend, when
The
they were
girlfriend.
growing
The
up,
Yes.
reminded him that he needs to go back and get the throne from the uncle. Can we leave it at that?
Because he's forgetting himself.
No, he did. And that is it. I'm saying until he was fine hanging out with
You
Timon
see,
and Pumbaa. Here was a lion with a mane and a roar to go with it. But he was fine hanging out with the lima. I think Nani is a lima and a pig and a warthog. You know, and I believe that, and it's good that you bring it up. And I've never thought of Lion King as being the answer
To the problem.
to the problem. Yes.
But you see,
Without
the
Nala,
thing is,
Lion King was done. He was comfortably chilling, eating things that lions do not eat.
but you
Because,
see,
again, the lioness, and I say, we need to stop treating ourselves as a superior being. Our intelligence, yes, might be different from other animals, but still without procreation, the species would die. Europe today is slowly being taken over by Africans or people of African descent. Why? Because it got to the point where instead of having children, you keep a dog. Their population growth rate has now shrunk, and because of that, they're being overrun by people of African descent. And that's because they forgot one basic purpose of being human. And that is that you must propagate your genes. And the person who understands that most, in my opinion, is the woman. And that is why when a man gets dumped by his girlfriend, he becomes a drunkard, he tries to kill himself, he decides he's going to try and mess up as many women as possible. But when a woman gets pregnant and is abandoned on her own, suddenly she becomes stronger, she becomes more resilient, and she's able to move on with the responsibility that the child within her is of more importance to the future of the race than the cowardly man who took off running. Because in principle also, he had played his part, which was just to impregnate. The rest you can always That was it. And unless you give a man a purpose beyond that biological act of being a man, being manly, I don't know, man enough. You know, all these words we are using are making things worse. And I remember, yes, there was a whole campaign about man enough that I don't know is done by the church and a group of... What do you mean you're being man enough? You know, 0 is 0. It doesn't matter what you do to 0. You give it ears, you give it a beard, it remains exactly that. Null, as we call it. It needs to be given purpose. And how do you give that 0 purpose? You put a 1 before it.
As for me,
And suddenly it is 10.
as for me, I will wind up saying the man easily gets comfortable. The man easily gets comfortable with a situation. And that's when...
And who creates the comfortable situation?
Wait, I don't create. Himself creates. Because if at all he wanted to be up and down, he would. But it's only because he just wants to be comfortable. Once he sees a lady and they are lovey-dovey and he's that.
His clothes are being washed, he's being fed, and
Exactly.
his other basic need is also being sorted out.
Yeah.
What else does he need to look
Because
up to?
The Bible says, men should love their wives and wives should submit. So by submitting, I'm trying to serve my husband. I'm trying to serve my man. You see? And why am I saying my man? Because as like, it's like a lord. You see, like a lord in that house. So I'm expecting him to take control. But you see, he's getting comfortable and forgetting him. He's just chilling. And I have to remind him, hey, you, wake up.
Sylvia, when you say, and that's why what I'm saying is that we need to be very clear, because when you leave the man on his own, he will chill. Mm-hmm. You must give him...
That's why he was given a nib. But he
Thank you.
got comfortable. He got comfortable to an extent that he couldn't even remember that he was forbidden to eat that fruit.
All right. This is... We need to have part 2. Do you guys agree?
Yeah, it's a sweet one.
I see Sylvia is fully set.
Last question.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like it's time that we stop treating men in relation to women and women in relation to men and figure out how we can take these two genders and allow them to coexist?
According to me, I think they should be taken individually. This is a man and this is a woman. Full stop. A man has his own responsibility of taking care of the family, and a woman has a responsibility to submit.
Sylvia, you still haven't told us what his responsibilities are. Like I said, the one I keep hearing about is security. And I've told you, in this time and age, you have enough other ways to sort out security issues.
Security, even emotional counts in security. Because if at all I don't have someone to talk to closely to my heart, I don't feel secure. I don't feel secure at all. Not even like at Intapatona, Wezi or anything. No. It's like I have a problem that is troubling me, and I really need to talk to someone very close to my heart. And you see, the relationship with, or as like the friendship of a lady and a lady, it's not like the same with the friendship between a lady and a man. It feels more comfortable when you talk to a man and he comforts you. You feel protected, you feel loved, you feel all that. And that's what we call it a man. As in like there's no money there. There's no money there.
Yeah.
No, Sylvia, I think what you've done is in principle you've hit the nail on the head. Therefore, when a woman says what I'm looking for is security, you don't mean you want a man with a spear and a shield.
True.
Standing at the door at night.
It doesn't have to. Okay, that's security. I said security is a broad word.
Yes, and that's what I want. And you see, to men, and that's what I want to tell you.
It includes of him standing
At the door, yes. And that's what I'm saying is that my perspective is from the perspective of a man. Okay? Men are not very good at indefinites. They are more of definite people. It's either Monday or it is not. Okay? It's either red or it is not.
Yeah.
It's not light brown. It is brown. And we move on. Okay? So a man generally needs it to be specific what is expected of him. And in my opinion, what is happening is no one is being explicit with a man. Everyone is throwing words around. He's being irresponsible. What is being irresponsible? When like we say, if he was to abandon the woman who was pregnant, the girlfriend who was pregnant, and instead went with a girlfriend who he really loved, he would be called irresponsible by one group. If he stays with the one who was pregnant and abandons the one who was in love with, he's still called irresponsible. Now, when you try to pull a man two ways, he stays in the center and decides either of these, none matters. And that's that's what to me is lacking, is no one is being specific to the man or to the boy child of exactly what his role is. If you tell me that my role is specifically to be there emotionally, psychologically, and physically, it's a clear explanation of what is expected of me. And this then needs to be how even the girl child now decides to pick the man she feels she would like to settle down with. Because I believe what's happening today is the girl child is also picking the man because of his financial potential, or pick the man because he's being chased by many other women. Trying to say that if there are so many women chasing after him, it means they have already validated his his value. And therefore, if I get him, then his full value that the others had seen. But in her presence, she had not seen his true value. There is where I believe we're having the issue of having so many marriages breaking up, because from day one, the couple were never friends. The behavior of the man is usually, why are you telling me to now be home? Even when we were dating, you know very well, my weekend begins Friday at 6, and my weekend ends on Monday morning. Now suddenly you want this person to change and be different. But he was clear about what. So unless you get to know his purpose clearly and know how to change him and see whether he changes before commitment. Mainly is, and if it's financial, and to many women, I think what has happened is they've been told that the man is there to provide financially. Okay? To provide materially. So when the man can't provide materially, what has happened now is you tell him he's a failure. There's a reason why bars have 90% men and 10% women. Because the 90% of these men who have homes to go to are unable to go home because they don't know what their role is when they walk into the home. Because the children have been fed, the house is clean, the children's homework has been done. What remains his purpose?
What remains his purpose is
Yes.
to talk to those kids.
And that is what...
He is being absent, and that's why you're now talking of boy child.
So-
boy child neglected, boy child not knowing his purpose, because there was no one to talk to him. You went drinking till morning. Who was there to talk to him?
All right. I'll be forced to end this conversation because of time. But Sylvia, Yahweh, we are ready for part 2. Then we can
Anytime.
continue, because essentially the main reason why we're not trying to say the woman is failing or the man is failing. What you're trying to do is, how can we help the boy child or man child, like you call him, to become a man that can actually hold a family together. That's what you're looking for. That's what we want. We want a responsible man, because then if you have responsible men and women we have a responsible country. We have a country that can actually move forward, and that's the goal. And like Yahweh said, it seems like the man is a confused fella out there, jumping up and down until he's told that these are the things that you need to do. So we'll end it today at that
But
point.
Dixon, you want to end it after for me again is you've gone out and left the issue hanging. What clearly defines a responsible man? And I think that's where we keep telling this boy, you're not responsible or be responsible. No one is telling them what responsibility means.
Because I said you stayed at the bar till morning and you are not there to tell and to teach your son what being responsible is. So
Hashtag YellowTape CRK. Please tell us, how would you define the responsibilities of a man? Share with us your opinion. And next week, we're going to continue the conversation with your opinions in mind and your comments and tweets. Hashtag YellowTape CRK, at Campus Radio, at Coach Yahweh, at Morande Dixon, at Sylvia Wanjiko. Tell us, let us know, what is the role of a man, in your own opinion? Because as growing up, most of us used to know
Not
the
role, responsibility.
The responsibility of what is this term responsibility being thrown around? What is the man supposed to do? Is he supposed to be there to bring bread? Because he's the one who knows where the best bakery is. like Yahweh was putting it literally. Is he supposed to be there, like Sylvia, you said, emotionally, to provide security? And what is this security that as a lady needs? Thank you so much, guys, for joining us for this particular conversation. And we will continue this. And guys, remember to share your tweets and comments on what responsibility is to you. What are the responsibilities of a man? Thank you so much. Lastly, this podcast has been recorded and this show has been recorded at Acute Media, Phoenix House. Remember the hashtag, the Twitter handle is at Acute Media. On Facebook, the same Acute Media. Instagram, Acute Media. Tell us, let's help you record your podcast. Thank you.
Exponential potential. While it do the row. Who's laughing now? Exponential potential. Wana drown kwa machozi zao, tunaogelea kwa jasho zetu. Who's laughing now? Milioni from 10 bob, nilitoa wapi extra zeros? Jiulize mbona donati na shimo, shingo shortcut ya mfuko, doni legal, dish kwa rooftop, siya DSTV ya kuomba dish distinct, vampire vegetarian, whiteheads, 9 believers, wana Twitter high class, soma college ya nightclub, result slip, editorman pay slip, toka niwe fitas, baka panya nimefika, God's finger, ima move string, wali to the row, who's laughing now? Exponential potential. Wana drown kwa machozi zao, tunaogelea kwa jasho zetu. Who's laughing now? Nasema who's laughing now? Exponential potential. Achana na toka kitambo nimekuwa photogenic. Wazazi wali insist na story ya photosynthesis. Nani ajui udaktari si lazima uwe mrefu kwa karatasi ya dawa malizange hesabu. Okapo wana need more ink, more pages, jina zifit kwa list. Si exaggerate kakufunika pancha na bandage. Ndova yezi hata ngumi ya mosquito, misimu important. Bila mimi mama mboga hata ana customer. Ngumu kwangu kizungu fluent, but uwezi command umati na influence. Wali to the row. Who's laughing now? Exponential potential. Wana drown kwa machozi zao, tunaogelea kwa jasho zetu. Who's laughing now? Nasema who's laughing now? Exponential potential. Achana na kuku yangu inalia ina swine flu. Iliponiona nikinoa kisu, nilikaribisha ili assume ni pet seafood. Homa homa inafunika nostrils. Coincidentally anapika seafood akidhani sinusia harufu. Uchoyo ainanga karibu msoto ikinokdo. Niko like you look familiar, we met before. Kuku ina idol ije kenchik ni death bending. Hard work to get the best out of life. Get safe, get the best out of death. Hey. Wali to the row. Aha, aha, aha. Who's laughing now? Exponential potential. Wanna drown kwa machozi zao. Tunaogelea kwa jasho zetu. Who's laughing now? Aha, aha, aha. Nasema aha, aha, aha. Who's laughing now? Exponential potential. Achana now. Wanna drown kwa machozi zao. Tunaogelea kwa jasho zetu. Who's laughing now? Aha, aha, aha. Nasema aha, aha, aha. Who's laughing now? Exponential potential. Achana now.